watching something right now from let's do our intros first. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on your way in. Definitely hit that like button on your way in. I know this is like super last minute, didn't give anybody any warning. I might do a part two to this. I say that often. So let's get into it. Miss Yander, I think her name is, this is one of the divestors that actually is supposedly married to the white guy. So, she talks about black femicide, and she speaks about, she's one of these Cynthia G kind of apparatchiks um, that speaks about black femicide and aborting black male sons, and white women wouldn't stand for this, and she tries to use examples of white women. What's going on, Toya? Um, this is one of those divestors that really makes me question the class thing, right? So she speaks well, she enunciates her words well, and what you hear from this is a kind of pining once again for this white global validation, right? And she's using all of of course, the racist anti-black talking points. Um, and of course the one about, well, they're in prison because they commit the crimes, and you don't see black men killing, you don't see non-black men killing each other like that, and what do you think white women would do, and this is not eugenics, this is black women closing their wombs and all of the foolishness. And all I could hear is, wait a minute, but isn't the birth rate across Europe going to the crapper? Wait, isn't the white birth rate in America going to the crapper? Like, this lady is speaking, and it's like glaring that she doesn't know what she's speaking about. And she has the white man, right? She's married to the white dude, and she doesn't know what she's talking about, right? Like, people kill in proximity. Number one. Number two, this this way of advocating for aborting black male sons because you feel like they haven't made you white women. It's very interesting how you advocate for this in complete and total ignorance, right? Like, if y'all aren't gonna do what we want y'all to do, then we just might not have you. We might as well not have you. And it sounds nice, especially in comparison to non-black men, until you realize that non-black men birth rate is like the white birth rate around the planet is going to the crapper all across Europe, right? Okay, the war between Russia and Ukraine right now is exacerbating that because both of them had below replacement level birth rate in the first place before the war, right? You just don't know what you're speaking about, right? She just doesn't know. And pining for white acceptance always is always interesting to me, especially coming from this kind of cohort of like black women, right? That speak this way because they act like it's black men holding them hostage within the black community, right? Ma'am, Miss Yonder, it's the same man that you're married to. It's the same type of men that you're married to. Those white guys are who hold you in the black community. It's a forced classification from the outside. They hear you. They've been listening to black women like you scream from the mountaintops how much you want to leave the black community, right? And to think that these same men who have just repealed, right, Roe versus Wade, the abortion rights bills, they're doing that to get white women back in line. And you think those same men are going to marry and have mixed children with black women in majority or in any significant number? They're attempting to get their white women back in line. As I said before, that white birth rate is going to the crapper. Did you not hear that? Do you not know that? Then when we look, black women actually have more children out of the black community than black men do, right? You just don't know what you're talking about. And you're okay with that because this is like a propaganda. It's like, black women, run for your lives. The best thing you can do is marry outside the race. And she said that. And I think that the reason why I'm making this video, because I know people like, Mr. Z is just another divester. What's so serious about this? Now we're in the age of it's most black men that are horrible. So it's not even some, it's most, right? So the way Miss Yonder speaks is, well, at worst you get murdered if you have a black child, right? You get murdered by that father. At and then in the middle somewhere is that he leaves you, right, while you're pregnant. And if you're super lucky, then your relationship will work out. So this is where we are with this woman now. This is the rhetoric from this space right now. And remember, she's married to a white man, right? This is why it's so dangerous. Her in a vacuum, don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what this lady is saying. Even the same white men that she's pining after outside of her husband, none of them care what she's saying. Oh, the black community, they still going to war with each other, man versus woman? Yeah. The black women still regurgitating the same talking points that we use? Yeah. Okay, good. Continue. Outside of that, they don't care. They don't care what this lady's saying. Right. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, you know. And so this regurgitating white racist talking points, this, yeah, they do commit the crimes. That's why they're in jail. It's not racism. It's not white supremacy. That sounds nice. But ma'am, it's not going to work for the vast majority of black women, even the vast majority of divestors. Okay, you got married to the white man. That's great for you. But the vast majority of black women, including even the divestors, are not. Ma'am, it's not black men. It's the same white guys. It's a forced classification from the outside. You can drop your blackness tomorrow. Ma'am, you've done it. You have the white guy. Go frolic in the sunlight. But y'all can't do that, can you? Because it's about trying to rub that white guy in black men's faces. First of all, most black men aren't LGBTQ, so it's not really going to work. We don't care about you and whatever y'all are doing over there. Right? This is to see this woman get what she's pining for, right? Talk about her engagement, cool, right? But then this is the type of content that you're producing. What's interesting about this social media space is we've been having this conversation louder and louder for a little while now on the internet. And it's going to be interesting to see in the next 5 years how much this divestor talk has actually advanced black women. And in the next decade, how much it has advanced black women. And then in the next 2 decades, how much of this language has advanced black women. When we're 2 decades out of Cynthia G rhetoric, when we're 2 decades out of Paris Milan rhetoric, of Chrissy rhetoric, of this Miss Yonder's rhetoric, it's going to be really interesting to see how much black women's interracial rate has progressed, while the marriage rate, by the way, in America falls through the floor. Y'all know I like bringing this up. This speaks to this divestor delusion, right? Their interracial marriage rate is going to rise as the marriage rate in America, that's even for non-black people, goes through the floor, right? And this is a very class-based argument, right? This is a, look, I've gone to school, I've done this, I speak this way, I associate with these type of non-black women, I do everything that I can to be accepted by white society, particularly white men, right? I regurgitate white racist talking points about black men, right? I distance myself from them. I speak as if I'm a helpless, hapless white woman, right? That black men, I fear black men. I say and do everything that I need to do to attempt to appeal to these non-black men. Right? And this is where we are. So, there's no reason to stress this too much, but this for a woman to actually have, okay, you know, I'm not gonna speak about her looks or whatever her looks is. She still landed the dude, right? Okay, you landed the dude, the white guy, and now your content is about what? Air quotes saving other black women, showing them that it's possible. Also, they're gonna fail in vast majority, and you know this, right? So now we got the Cynthia G apparatchiks saying the same thing on their lives, right? The Cynthia G lackeys. We need to divest. It's the best thing for black women. If you're lucky, right? If you're lucky, y'all relationship will last. But most likely, he's gonna leave you or maybe kill you. So now we're telling black women that black men will kill you. Like femicide is still a thing. This lady's still talking femicide. As I said before, how many times has Paris Milan put her foot in her mouth with, this black girl is missing, and the last time she was saw, it was some black man following her. Oh, wait, 2 weeks later. Oh, wait, maybe not. This black man is the monster thing as a way to attempt to appeal to these very white, racist, usually conservative white dudes. How's that looking? I mean, y'all been doing it for decades. Y'all just got louder with the internet, with high speed internet. It's not working. So, yeah, you got your white man. Cool. And there's another conversation to be had about women like this having to speak this way to appeal to their white husbands, to let their white husbands know, I'm not going anywhere. This is what I think about black men, right? We saw that with the black young lady with the conservative, with the, I said conservative, my apologies, with the stars and bars, right? On her face, the Blue Lives Matter mask on her face, also, right? We saw that with her and the way she speaks. Supposedly, she has a white man, right? We see that with different content creators like Crystal Swirls. We see that with different content creators that speak this way, right? We saw that with Crystal and Karazin. We see that with Candace Owens. Speaking this way to really attempt to appeal to your white husband. Look, I'm just as anti-black as you. As a matter of fact, I'm more anti-black than you. We also saw that with that dark-skinned black woman with the whatever white dude. He looks like he's a truck driver, right? With the horrible teeth, right? So this is how far they have to go to attempt to appeal to their white, and always let their white husbands know, look, I'm not going anywhere, and if I do cheat on you, it's definitely not going to be with one of these people, one of these N words with the hard ER, right? So, and this is a really good question. KW Dawn says, what would Cynthia G's legacy look like in 30 years? Exactly. Exactly. What is it going to look like in 2 decades when somebody happens on your channel and they got you literally saying abort black male babies? When they have Miss Yonder with this white husband essentially saying the same thing. As a matter of fact, taking it a step further and saying, you know what? They're in prison. There's a reason they're in prison. It's their fault, right? It's the look. It's not us, because that's essentially what she was saying. Look, white society. It's not black women. Our half of the black population is not the one committing the crimes. And it really is trying to appeal to white society, begging white society to accept you. Look, we're not like the male side of the black race. We're not the men. We're not the boys. As a matter of fact, we're trying to abort the boys and we're trying to distance ourselves from the men. Look, white mommy, look, white daddy, we don't want nothing to do with them. Please let us in, right? So yeah, she has the white husband, but does she has acceptance in that man's family in a particular way, in his neighborhood, right? With his friends, you know? We can already imagine what she sounds like when she's speaking to his friends, his family. You know she let that inward fly, right? Y'all get the likes up. You know she lets that inward fly. And that's what's frightening about people like this. She actually does have the white man. GC, a black woman named Miss Yonders, right? Another divester. And the only reason I'm really making content about this lady is because she's taken it, she's moved the goalpost to not even most black men, but pretty much all black men. And if you get lucky, you'll be in an okay relationship with one. But for the most part, she's regurgitating that black femicide to, rhetoric and the black men ain't ish rhetoric. Much of this is your standard issue black men ain't ish rhetoric, but it's the once again it's the pining for white acceptance. It's the XX side of the chromosome is not like the XY. We're different. We're better, right? We want to abort the black male babies, and we're distancing ourselves from the black male adults. So no more black boys, and we're distancing ourselves from black men, right? And this is liberation. And how did I almost forget this? This is the talking. This and I'm gonna. I actually have to make a part two because I didn't stick this part, which is divesting is black women's feminism. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Y'all heard that right. Y'all heard that right. Divesting is black women's feminism. So you mean divesting to the same men that white women started feminism for? Whoa. Okay, let me get this right. So white women in Europe are having less children, but when black women are having less children, because black men are dusties. But white women in Europe and white women in America are having less children with white men because of why? Okay, we'll pause right there. Then you're saying divesting is black women's feminism, and you're divesting to primarily white men who are the catalyst for white women's feminism? What? Is it Mr. Z or is the math not mathing? Right? Is it Mr. Z or is the math not mathing? Right? We get it, man. You want to run as far as you can. You have the white man. It still doesn't feel like it's good enough. You got the ring. It still doesn't feel like it's good enough. You're married. It still doesn't feel like it's good enough because you're still black. Oh, damn. Unfortunately for you, right? You're still black. You're regurgitating the talking points. You're still black. You got the white husband. You're still black. You probably live in a non-black neighborhood. You're still black. And when you're not with him, then you're still really black. You can't even use him as a passport around that white area you probably live in. I get it. That's unfortunate, right? Once again, another black woman pining for white acceptance, regurgitating white racist talking points, begging white society to let them in, even with the white husband, right? Look, white society, I will say all the negative things about them that you say. I'll say it even louder. As a matter of fact, give me that microphone. Let me say it. That's unfortunate. that this is where we are, right? So I'll pause right there. I'm probably gonna make a part two to this because I really want to stick the class part and the divesting is black women's feminism. I actually love that she said that because that is how it's being. That is what we've seen, right? When you've seen the actions and you see this kind of evangelizing of divesting, and this is her energy, right? It's kind of evangelizing divesting. Victor Creed actually, so Victor Creed, shout out to Victor Creed, thank you for the super chat. He says she wants black men to be upset that she is with a white man and black women to envy her. I would like y'all to remember, and maybe y'all want to watch this before I do my next live on this. Y'all remember the episode, rest in peace, Kevin. Y'all remember the episode he did with the swirler, the failed swirler? Remember that episode? This is exactly what we're talking about. Shout out to you, Victor. Yes. And it's not about being jealous. Quite frankly, we could give a damn about what goes on with you and that white dude. But the rhetoric, though, right? The rhetoric, that's a different conversation, right? We could care less about what you and the white dude do. And you know that. See, these particular people know that no one cares. No one cares. Black people don't care about you and the white dude. White people, outside of like really their racism, but the ones of them that aren't anti-black really don't care. So no one cares about a white dude walking down the street with a black woman. No one. Especially if you live in a major city. No one. And that's the problem. Look, I made it out. Look, I got the trophy white man. Why am I not being like paraded in the streets as one of the black women that got the trophy white man? Especially if I'm marginally attractive. Even especially if I'm maybe seen as unattractive by many. And I got the mythical, magical white man. And then I'm not being celebrated in the streets. I'm not being envied by black people, particularly black men. They don't care, which really boils my blood because I really want to throw my white man in their face. Right? Then white society's not, look, oh my God, that's beautiful. Right? So yeah, man, look, people like this, yawn. Yawn. Outside of what she said, and that I'm gonna probably title the next video that divesting is black women's feminism. Thank you for giving that to us, ma'am. Put it in the book. And I'll truly pause right there. All right, y'all. I'll pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Mr. Z out. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm gonna make a part two. I know I said that all the time, but I'm definitely gonna make a part two to that. I didn't add the video because I don't know if we want to give her views, but yeah. And I'll truly pause right there. All right, everyone. Have a good rest of y'all night.